4th. Let me see how we look. We should be back in the building on this Friday, Independence Day. Oh my goodness. Shout out to the gang in the building. It's great to see y'all. You know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. Looking all crispy and clean on the screen with our festive t-shirt. Y'all see it represent for America. Shout out to America in the building. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the ClassE, well, afternoon show today. I'm your host, ClassE, of patreon.com/ClassEbeats. By the way, make sure you check it out. Link is in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. And we're going to get into it today. We got a lot of Diddy stuff to talk about. I should probably phrase that differently. Anyway, Diddy's in the news. All right, we're going to talk about that here shortly. We're going to get into Alan Jackson. Looks like he's taking over a new case. If you guys haven't heard, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to get some reaction from some celebrities, some former judges, some current judges that are going to talk about what's going to happen to Diddy moving forward. But before we do, I've got to say what's up to the people, man. Shout out to everybody who's in the building. Good to see y'all. Shout out to the gangs up in here. We've got my awesome, amazing Amy is in the building. Shout out to Amy. We've got, oh, Dottie's up in here too. Shout out to Amazing Grace is in the building. Says happy 4th. Love you. Have a great day. Love you too, Grace. I hope you have a great day as well. Good to see you this morning. We've also got Les Cleaver in the building. We've got Melody C in here. Jay Buckmaster, Kara Hampton's in here. Good to see all of y'all. Taco Tuesday is in the building. In Blue is back at it. Happy 4th to y'all as well. We got Mr. Brown's in here. Good to see you. We've got HRH Princess in here. Good to see you. We've got, oh man, I want to make sure I get everybody in the building. Shout out to all the members who are in here. Y'all always show up and show love. I want to make sure I get everyone. Slim Life New Jersey's in the building. Good to see you, Slim Life. And I think there's a couple more of y'all that I probably missed, but I will make sure I get to you guys and say what's up and good morning to you as we go throughout the show. Shout out to Nosy Rosie's in here as well. Yeah, it's July 4th, man. Happy birthday to America. I love this country. I love everything about this country, where we are and what this country stands for. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you to all of our service men and women who fight every single day for our freedom to make this country great. So glad America's here, man. Shout out to America. We're going to get into it here shortly. If y'all could, please do me a favor. Make sure you like the video on your way in. I don't ask for much, but likes are free. It takes 1 second, less than 1 second to like the video. It lets the algorithm know that you guys are enjoying the show, shares the video, the channel, this live stream out with more people. So if you guys could take a second and do that, I would appreciate it. Also, if you're feeling extra generous, you could also share out the video. You can share it on X. You can share it on Instagram. You can even send it to your group chat as well. So thank you to everyone who's done that. Shout out to all nearly 600 of you that have liked the video so far. Guys, likes are free, and I'm going to continue to beg for likes until it's my last day on YouTube. All right. I might even just out of habit start begging my family and friends for likes. They're gonna be like, dude, what are you talking about? Like what? I don't know. Anyway, we've got some amazing news today. We got some breaking news when it comes to Diddy and the trial. We're going to hear from one of the alternate jurors and what his thoughts were, not only on the verdict, but what his experience was while he was, I guess, observing, deliberating during the trial. So we'll get into that shortly. Let me read a couple of these super chats though. I do want to acknowledge everyone who goes the extra mile and supports the channel via super chats. Thank you. Oh my goodness. We got a ton of y'all in here. Shout out to Les Cleaver in the building. He says happy 4th. He's been a member for 9 months. Happy 4th of July. Love you all. God bless you all. This is the best channel you'll ever see. Thank you, Les Cleaver. I appreciate that. I think Amy would have something to say about that. She's got the channel. Y'all make sure you go check her out. Make sure y'all go show some support to Amy as well. And shout out to Les Cleaver, always in here every single show, showing love. One of the hardest working dudes I know. Hopefully, Les, did you get a day off today? I don't know. I don't know if you know how to take a day off, Les. Hopefully you got to relax today. Kara Hampton's in here with the 2 bomb, says happy 4th, everyone. Stay safe on purpose. That's a fact. Thank you so much. We've got my guy Les Cleaver again. Another one. He says with the 5 bomb, salute to all who have served and are serving. Happy 4th to the USA. We have come a long way and still have more to go. Amen to that. God bless each of you. Amen. Thank you, Les Cleaver, with the 5 bomb. And he goes on again.
Another one.
Goodness, he says with the 2 bomb, salute to President ClassE and Vice President Amy. Oh man, listen. Oh boy. I said I was gonna do it. I guess 2028, we're making this happen. So I got to keep my word. Shout out to Les Cleaver for keeping us accountable here. We got Slim Life New Jersey with the 5 bomb. She said, good afternoon, ClassE, Amy, and my amazing CEB family. I'll be in and out. Okay.
Hey,
What you got going on over there, Slim Life? Celebrating early. Everyone enjoy your 4th and be safe. Remember, God is good all the time, and all the time, thank God, God is good. Amen. Also, Slim Life is flexing over there because she's a boss with the super sticker. Thank you for the 5 bomb as well. We got Floyd the Real Deal Neil. He has been a member for 13 months. Oh my gosh. He said, you know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. And he's black and yellow on the screen too. Uh-huh. Shout out to Floyd. Good to see you in here, man. And happy 4th of July to you. We've got my awesome, amazing Amy. You know, she loves spreading the love over there, gifting 5 memberships. Guys, if you got a membership from Amy or for anyone who gifts memberships on this show, make sure you say thank you. They're giving you a chance to get your name all highlighted in the beautiful green. You get a chance to check out the members only content we have, custom emojis in the chat, and you get first access to any videos that we drop here on the channel. So make sure you check out the members only side and all the other benefits we have there. If you got a membership from Amy, do the right thing. Say thank you. Also, Amy, oh my goodness, big dog in here with the fireworks, dropping a 50 bomb. Oh my goodness. Starting to celebrate early. Thank you, Amy, for the love and support. She does it all, man. Amy is really the best. You did not have to do that. You support enough, but thank you for the love and support. I appreciate you, Amy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We got Les Cleaver is in the building too. We got Mr. Brown is in here. Shout out to Mr. Brown dropping the 2 bomb, just showing some love. Hopefully you're doing well, Mr. Brown. We got Miss Mandy Reacts in here, also has a YouTube channel with the 2 bomb. She says, hi, ClassE, happy birthday, America. Shout out to America in the building. Greatest country on earth. We got Slim Life New Jersey in here again. What does she say? With another super chat. She says, salute to all the troops. We love you. We thank you. Mom, dad, grandpa, aunts, uncles, you know who you are. I don't want to call y'all government names on the internet, but thank y'all for your service. And to everyone who's in here who served as well, I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you so much. We would not be able to enjoy the freedoms and truly celebrate America's birthday if it wasn't for y'all. So thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Happy 4th. I'm so thankful my puppy isn't scared of fireworks. They've been going off for days. Yeah, they've been doing fireworks in our area for the past 48 hours. I'm like, man, and you know it's going to go on through the weekend too. With the 4th being on the Friday, this is going to be, it's going to be a long one. But hey, celebrate America. We love it. All right, I think I got everybody in here. Shout out to the gang in the building. Let's go ahead and shout out to Rice Street and thank y'all to all of you who served. Les Cleaver served. We got Rice Street in here. He served as well. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I have so much respect and appreciation for our servicemen and women. So thank y'all so much. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. We got our first topic up here. Guys, we've got a lot to cover. I'm not going to tell y'all how many topics we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, Lord. We're going to be in here for a minute. So hopefully y'all started the barbecue early and you got some lunch with you. We're going to go ahead and get into it. So with everything that's been going on with this Diddy trial coverage, we've all had the same question. Now what? What's next for Diddy? Is he going to have to serve time? Is it going to be probation? Is it going to be time served? Is it going to be time served probation? Is it going to be time served, time in jail, and probation? We have no idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to News Nation and we're going to get a little insight into what might be happening moving forward with Diddy's sentencing, which is the defense is trying to get things expedited. Right now, it's looking like it may be October before he's sentenced, which is insane. But hopefully they can get this expedited and then he can find out what's going to happen moving forward. Let's go with News Nation and see what they're talking about. Shout out to Jesse, double dipping, man. He's everywhere.
4th, not to say that Sean Diddy Combs won't have something to
News
celebrate
Nation,
tomorrow,
law and crime.
more than a lot of people, maybe even Diddy himself expected. But the fact remains, he will spend the 4th of July in the same place he's been every day since he was arrested last September, in the notoriously awful MDC, the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn.
Terrible.
We're going to find out in October how long he'll have to serve for his twin convictions of transportation to engage in prostitution. That is, unless the sentencing hearing is expedited. And we're also going to find out where he's going to spend his time. But we don't have to wait for the nitty-gritty day in and day out details that likely await him wherever he goes. You know why? Because we got Larry Levine. He's here. Larry served 10 years in multiple federal institutions. He now runs Wall Street Prison Consultants, which he founded. Good to see you, Larry. Thanks for taking the time.
Hey, great to be back with you.
Wait, you know what? Let's scroll back up. I got your book. I want to tell everybody. You got a new book.
Okay.
Prison Politics 101.
Shout out to Larry.
Mastering the Art of Survival. We got everybody pick it up. Hope everybody can check it out. Okay.
Yeah, October is a long way away.
I sent a copy of that into Diddy and Luigi, and they returned it and they banned it in the federal prison system because they considered it a threat. They don't want people to know what's in there. Yeah.
Wow, I thought, it'd be good. You're giving advice about what it's like, which brings me to my question.
I sent it to Brian Kohlberger. They let it in there, but it is what it is.
Well, let's see if he signs it and returns it or keeps it. But I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
If Diddy goes to prison, so if he's sentenced to prison, not time served,
hopefully
where do you think he's going to serve his time? Do you think it would not be in the MDC? Would it be somewhere else? And how does that compare to where he is now?
Okay, MDC, it's essentially like a jail, a federal jail.
Yeah.
Where you're inside all the time. You have housing units. There's a common area. There's cells around the wall. People are coming and going because people are getting charged. People are getting released. You're living in close quarters. You go to a real prison, you're going to be going outside. You may have a job. You're going to be doing things. This place here, it's really a lousy environment. But there's a big question as to where he's going to go. Some people think he's going to go to a minimum security facility, and other people say he's not eligible. And I agree because it's a sex crime.
Prosecutors, they said in their filing
yesterday
was tough.
I thought he was going to be out.
We'll see how it goes down when it goes to sentencing.
Well, and another issue was, as we saw the judge, during court proceedings, the defense, they put out there, yeah, we get it. Diddy's a violent person. All right. You guys saw the video, him kicking Cassie up and down the hotel lobby. He's violent. And if this case were about domestic violence, then you'd have to find Diddy guilty. And the judge said, hold on a second. Y'all are saying this in my courtroom and you think I'm going to let this guy out on bail? It's not happening. So that's why he's still sitting there. And the judge himself said that.
But
you know what? Hold on. I know we're out. We don't have a lot of time. Here's something nobody's pointed out. That judge can hit him what's called relevant conduct, where they can actually sentence and enhance him for things that he either was acquitted of, found not guilty of, based on the conduct of what he did. So he may get more time.
The judge has a lot of discretion here. There's no minimum. Max is 10. There's been talk about would he even go past the guidelines because you're talking about multiple instances of transportation to engage in prostitution and two victims.
Relevant conduct allows the judge to do that.
Right.
The defense will say he abused his discretion, but he really didn't because the judge has all the discretion he wants.
That's 100%. That's why he's going to need as much information from a pre-investigation report. Let me ask you this. If he goes to prison, if he's sentenced to prison, he was acquitted of racketeering. He was acquitted of sex trafficking, but he was convicted of transportation to engage in prostitution. Does he walk in a king or does he walk in a pariah? How do other inmates look at him if he was acquitted?
You know what? He was acquitted on some charges.
Yeah.
People win. On multiple counts, people sometimes get things dismissed all the time. Fact is, he's no better than anyone else. He's a convicted felon. But what he's going to face is all these people are going to be sucking up.
Hold on a second. We got to talk about this. Diddy being a convicted felon. Guys, we talked about this in the Young Thug trial. We talked about this in previous trials. That's going to be a big deal for him. And not only is he going to have to be very careful how he moves, but he's going to have to look at restructuring his entire livelihood, not just with business, not just with his adult activities, as we say, but how he moves entirely. So I don't know what the judge is going to decide with this sentencing, how it's going to look, but we all know as a convicted felon, life ain't too sweet.
Up to him because of who he is and thinking that he could do something to further their career. You don't know how many people I met on the inside that all said they started Bad Boy Records, Death Row Records. Everybody started Death Row Records. He'll be treated like a king. He'll be treated like a celebrity. But I don't know if people are going to give him high fives for having sex crimes. I don't see that. It's not a popular crime.
Do you think
He's
that
Diddy.
he needs
He don't
security,
care.
and what would be the level of security for him in there? Any kind of protection?
I believe he'll be just fine when he's in there, and he'll have all the African-American gang members hanging out with him, and maybe he'll put money on their books. He's not going to have any problem at all.
I think he'll be all right too.
He'll get along just fine. Even the staff will treat him differently. I'm not worried about him. Luigi's a different story.
Interesting.
Shout out to
tomorrow's
Luigi
the holiday, right?
Mangione.
July 4th. Inmates, jail, prison, they get anything special on July 4th?
You know what? I was in 11 different federal facilities, and a lot of the ones, they actually did a cook-off where they had barbecues and
That's
hamburgers,
hilarious.
hot dogs, ribs. Not at every facility, but at some of them. Well, right now, the BOP is out of money. Some of these facilities, they don't even have money for toilet paper. People are going to think I'm lying about this. Some federal facilities are actually tearing up bed sheets. And he's most likely, because the staff, they're going to have a day off tomorrow, probably today, maybe right now. There's people that are putting bag lunches together, maybe some cold cuts with an apple, fruit punch, and some cookies or something. But it's not going to be really
trash.
A special day. MDC.
Yeah, I mean, okay, you're in jail. Obviously, it's not going to be special. I hope, based on the crimes that Diddy was being convicted for, I hope that he doesn't have to serve this time. I mean, he shouldn't have to do any time in jail. I think, again, this jury, they wanted to find him guilty. We're going to hear from a jury member later on, an alternate juror. They had to find him guilty of something just because this trial was absolutely insane. With that being said, and with the way the law is, because he's basically guilty for flying somebody out, they consented to it, and he paid them to do certain things. That's why he's in this situation. I don't know, man. Does he really need to be locked up for that? You break the law, you break the law. It's going to be up to the judge. So let me know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat. And again, I know we're going to have people saying, oh, but the domestic violence. Those aren't in the charges, guys. All right. The DV's gone. So just because you think he's guilty of domestic violence doesn't mean that you can add that to the transportation to participate in prostitution. All right. So keep that in mind. Shout out to everyone who's in here. We got 2,700 of y'all in the building. Oh yeah, what are y'all just chilling by the pool before the fireworks start? Shout out to everybody who's in here. If you guys haven't yet, listen, I don't ask for much on this channel. I really don't. The one thing I ask you guys to do, it's free. Like the video, please. There's 2,700 of you in here. We can easily have 2,700 likes. If you guys could take a second, like the video, it's free. Takes less than a second, lets the algorithm know you guys are enjoying the show, shares the video and the live stream with more people. I'm going to unashamedly beg for likes forever. All right. I'm going to keep on begging. And thank you again to all of y'all who are giving comments in the chat too. Jesse keeping his composure with this lunatic. Y'all aren't feeling this dude. Feds are letting low-level criminals out because they can't afford to house them. It's a whole entire mess. What else are y'all saying? It is crazy, and many people are against it, but it hasn't been fully banned. And I think they'll do it in this case to save face after such a bad case. What is the it you're talking about? Oh, sentencing doesn't require proof, only preponderance of evidence. So the judge can sentence him for the stuff, even if the jury didn't believe it was proven. Yes. And that is something that I thought was an interesting point as well. Sitting on my balcony, about to get back in my bed. Oof, that sounds nice. Goodness gracious. I liked it a long time ago. Thank you to everybody who liked the video. Les Cleaver said he's chilling out here later, a nap, do some food, and lots of relaxing. Shout out to Les. You earned it, man. You owned it. You earned it. Dude is self-exaggerating. $1 trillion budget, but no funds for basic needs. They're in a tough spot right now. We even see it here in Fulton County. It's just where the funds being allocated to. It's super easy to hit that like on your way in before you open the chat. Come on, y'all, like the video. Thank you to everybody who's done that as well. All right, we're going to get into the part that you guys are here for. It is time. We are going to talk about this alternate juror who just did an interview with CNN. Now, I know a lot of you guys aren't a fan of CNN, all right? I'm sorry. But this is who he chose to spoke to. So hopefully we'll actually get to hear something insightful. I have not seen this interview yet, so we're going to be reacting to it and hearing it at the same time. But I'm hoping this juror will give us an insight into what they were thinking, what they thought, especially, as you guys know, I really doubled down on the credibility of the witnesses, what they thought about the credibility of the witnesses, and why he thinks the jury came to the decision they did. So let's go ahead and hear finally from one of the jurors in this trial. Hopefully we're going to have some more that come and speak out, because I mean, I think they made the right decision. Some of them may be worried about the publicity, especially seeing what happened in the Karen Reed trial. I mean, they're still going off on poor Apollo over there. Anyway, different trial. Let's see what the juror had to say. Shout out to CNN for getting this interview.
Alternate juror who was in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. George is joining us right now. This was 7 weeks of your life, hearing all of this testimony. You were an alternate. You did not deliberate, but did you agree with the final verdict?
I understood the final verdict, and I think because I took a copious amount of notes overall. I took 350 pages worth of notes, because at the end we weren't told who was an alternate, who was the main juror, until literally the last second. When they were reading when the judge was reading his entire statement at the end, it was like, the first 12 of you are the jurors, the last 5 are the alternates. So we didn't know, even in the jury room, no one treated everyone, we all were equal, because we didn't know who was who.
Would you have acquitted him on RICO?
I think reading all my notes and looking back at the evidence, I probably would have reached the same conclusion as the other jurors.
Wow.
What was it about that charge?
I don't, the thing with because we were asked, and the judge had instructed us that we have to find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Mm-hmm. And I think there was always a little bit of doubt in people's mind. And I think it was a tough case to prove, especially the first one. There was always a little bit of doubt there, even from the beginning.
Why did you doubt?
Wow.
I think some of the charges, some of the witnesses, if you look at it one way, but then when you were listening to the defense, you could see it their way as well.
Were there any witnesses?
Yeah, and I would love to hear what they think about the defense not calling any witnesses and purely basing their case off of direct cross-examination, because that was a big thing for me. I was shocked to see that and surprised that they said, hey, we believe the jury is going to see that none of these witnesses were credible. I think that's what weighed heavily into the decision that they made. Also, he's saying, I still would have found Diddy innocent of the RICO charge. Wow.
To the defense, you could see it their way as well.
Were there any witnesses that made you think, I don't believe this?
There was one that I think, unanimously, we kind of all said, like, wow. Like, it was almost like watching, like, TV. Mm. It was like, like when I think her name was Dawn Richard, that one. Mm-hmm. When she, on cross-examination, I mean, I never saw such a cross-examination. It was very impressive to watch.
What was it about it?
Shout out to Nicole.
I think just how the defense, got into her and really made her, look very not credible. I mean, I even wrote in my notebook that it was like a takedown.
Dang, we talked about this. I know. I'm I'm tooting my own horn here. But we talked about this, guys. We're regular people is why a lot of times we hear these juror interviews and we're thinking the exact same things we're thinking because we're all looking at the same evidence and hearing the same things. The only difference is he actually got to see it because this was a federal case. We didn't get to see what happened, what was going on in court. He actually got to see Dawn getting cooked on the stand. I wonder, and I hope they talk about Cassie. We need to hear from more of the jurors too. Any of the jurors that might be watching this, listen, guys, this is a safe place for you. If you want to come and share your thoughts, please make sure you do that. You'll be welcome here in this community. And I want to hear what you guys thought, especially what was going on during deliberations. So shout out to y'all. Crazy.
Got into her and really made her, look very not credible. I mean, I even wrote in my notebook that it was like a takedown.
Really? And that was pretty early on.
That was pretty early on.
From the opening statements, did you have a mindset of who you thought had a better case?
No. I think overall,
opening
from
statements were
the way
good.
I look at it, both sides presented really good. Both sides presented themselves well. We were very impressed with the prosecution and the defense, how they, their professionalism, how they carried themselves. I mean, it was really good lawyering, as they say.
Racketeering is notoriously a complex case. Did you feel that the prosecution presented enough evidence to support that there was even an enterprise?
Nope.
I think they did the best that they could, but I think it was a tough case to prove.
Why?
I mean, when you look at the charges, kidnapping, arson, forced labor, the government had one side, but then the defense, they had some pretty good rebuttals to it. So I mean that I think added some doubt always, and I think.
And for a lot of us too, it was one guy. A lot of you guys were asking in the comments, how are we charging one man with RICO? And also, we charge one man with RICO, and then the entirety of the witnesses that were called by the prosecution, excluding police officers, got immunity. That's wild. So you got to get all these people immunity so they can testify and say what they did and what they were involved in. If you guys cared about this RICO, and if there really was a RICO, why aren't you charging them? Doesn't make any sense.
In people's mind.
You didn't hear from some of the people the government said were co-conspirators, like employees.
Like Christina Karam and
or D-Rock.
Yeah.
Did that
Nasty.
affect your thoughts about the case?
I don't think so, no.
Would you have wanted to hear from them?
We always thought that maybe we would hear from them, but maybe we also understood maybe why they wouldn't be called.
Why?
Because maybe they didn't want to testify, or they wouldn't really be proving the case, or maybe it would be not advantageous to be called. So, but honestly, we were just waiting till the end, until when the judge gave his instructions and how to interpret the law. Because I think everyone really didn't have anything made up, their mind made up, or in any way. It was really, everyone was waiting to see how the definitions and how everything was going to be interpreted and what they were to be looked at. Exactly.
So important.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the sex trafficking cases, because of court charges. Obviously, Cassie Ventura testified visibly pregnant for days.
Yes.
How did her testimony impact you in your understanding of the case?
It did. We listened very intently. It was, I think, 5 days or forever of thing. And it was very riveting. And it was very riveting testimony and very credible testimony.
You believed her?
I mean, I think we did. I think we did. I mean, she wouldn't have done all this just to come up there and lie about everything. So no, I don't think even the defense didn't come out and say or anything like that.
Did the money that they talked about in terms of a civil settlement she received, did that color her testimony for you at all?
I don't think so, no. I don't think so, no.
Did you look at the defendant, Diddy Combs, differently after her testimony?
No, I didn't really look at him too much. I mean, I always looked at him because my point of view was just literally at him, like some people were on the side, but I was more in the corner. So I was always like staring at him. But I don't think he was mostly just very composed and talking with his lawyers and very in control. It seemed like. You know, because I think I'm not really familiar too much with cases and I don't really follow.
But we know Cassie was
cases
incredible.
in court, so I don't know how defendants usually act. But sometimes what I've heard in from the news is that some defendants, they just sit very stoically. They don't interact with their lawyers. They just let their lawyers talk and go. But he was very,
y'all said he's lying.
Talking with them, writing notes, doing that. So you could tell that he was, he was fighting for himself.
You saw some very graphic
Let him
images, videos. You heard very sexual and graphic details.
Yeah.
What was that like, hearing that? And how did it impact how you viewed the case?
No, they were very graphic, and but I think overall, it was we were looking at it from like one side, and it was definitely riveting and eye-opening.
What did you see on the videos? The press wasn't able to see it in real time.
Yeah. No, I mean, they were showing some of the. Well, I mean, there was both the freak-offs and hotel nights, as they were called, from both of them. But it was.
Were they showing those videos?
Having to watch those.
They showed. Well, again, the defense and the prosecution showed different clips, so they were very selective. Like the prosecution was showing more, just Cassie just sitting around.
The defense showed that.
Defense showed that, yeah.
Just her sitting around not engaging in sexual activity.
Yes.
The prosecution, when you had to have your headphones on and otherwise, what were you seeing then?
There was sexual activity, but I mean, it wasn't really.
Was it forced? Did it?
No, it didn't. It didn't seem forced. It was actually like pretty tame.
Really?
Yeah.
Did she?
It was just a lot of rubbing oil and stuff on there. It wasn't anything too.
Well, what did you think about the credibility?
Let me ask you. This jury that deliberated did not find sex trafficking when it came to Cassie Ventura. They also didn't find it when it came to Jane. And I want to ask you about Jane in a moment. But did it surprise you when it came to Cassie Ventura that they did not convict on sex trafficking?
No, I don't. I think it was a difficult thing to prove, and I think there was always some doubt, whether, because I think what the judge says, it has to be forced, and I think the defense did show some messages where it didn't seem that it was forced.
Oh, her text messages when she talked about it.
Yeah.
That was really important to you to consider.
I think that was.
Oh, they said. Again, we talked about it. The credibility, Cassie's credibility looked crazy. I said this so many times. They saw the text messages, guys. They saw it just like we did. And Cassie was like, "Ooh, daddy, you know what I want? Last night was crazy." Come on, man. We're not dumb. We're not blind. We're not deaf. This jury saw it, man. Shout out to the jury for seeing the truth. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. We're going to continue on with this a little bit in a minute, but this is so good to hear it from someone who was in the courtroom and could have possibly been deliberating in this case. So let me take a second real quick, y'all. I want to see what some of y'all are saying, and then we'll keep going with this. This is absolutely amazing. We talked about this. We said it. I see some of y'all talking about interviewing the foreman from Karen retrial. I mean, God, listen. Yeah, we're good. I don't think we need to interview the foreman. Yeah, if he wants to reach out and say, "Hey, I want to come on talking about it," maybe, but I'm not gonna really pursue that now because it's kind of old news, to be honest. Karen's free. We're moving on to the next thing. He's done several interviews already, so I'm good on it. We got Floyd the Real Deal Neal in here. with the 5 bomb says, bro, I'm surprised Farnsworth Bentley wasn't brought up. Excuse me, or questioned at all. What do you think? Also, I think he'll get 3 years with credit for time served. I think he'll get more with that. I would like to see. Again, this is just me. I don't know. I probably shouldn't comment on this because I'm not an attorney and I'm not someone who knows the legal system that well as to what could possibly happen. I think what would be fair would be time served plus maybe like 10 years probation. But I think the issue is going to be what the judge already said. The problem is going to be with that is his defense team admitting that he's a violent guy and he's guilty of domestic violence. That's going to be a problem when it comes to the sentencing. So I would like to see him do time served plus probation, but I think that's being super optimistic. I think he may end up having to do some time in jail, but I'm going to stick with my prediction and I'll say I'm leaning more towards time served plus like 10 years probation. We'll have to wait and see. Shout out to Floyd, the real deal Neil, again with the 10 bomb. He says, be back to Song of the Night soon. Just graduated barber college. Okay, shout out to Floyd doing big things. I had to lock in. Miss y'all a lot. Opening my shop, Real Deal Cuts, in 2 months. Oh my goodness, out here getting the bag. The ClassE morning show is the shop. In the shop will be a regular thing. I appreciate you, Floyd. Yeah, put us up there on the TV, man. Shout out to Floyd. That's super dope. All right, we've got, let's see. Wait, is ClassE defending Diddy? What? Oh, man. Let me see what y'all are saying. They only needed Cassie plus Jane telling what she knew. Exactly. He said the freak off videos look consensual. Yep. Again, yes. When it comes to these charges, I don't think Diddy, we predicted that he was going to be found guilty of something. And we also predicted it was going to be transportation for prostitution. But when it comes to this entire case, he should have been found guilty, not guilty on the whole thing. It was BS. It was BS. So yes, when it comes to these charges specifically, the RICO, we've got count 2, trafficking Cassie. We've got count 3, the Mann Act when it applies to Cassie. We've got count 4, Jane Doe trafficking. We got count 5, the Mann Act as it applies to Jane Doe. I think he should have been found not guilty of this entire thing. Period. Yes, please unsubscribe. Listen, if y'all have a problem with that, just unsubscribe. It helps out the channel, not only when y'all subscribe, but it helps the channel when you unsubscribe. You know why? Because people who subscribe and don't watch the content, well, that doesn't help anything. It doesn't help anything. But when you actually unsubscribe and you leave and you go somewhere where you want to be, that super helps. So yeah, please make sure that if you're not happy with the content, you just leave. It's simple. All right. He can't take the domestic violence into consideration, though. That's not fair. He wasn't charged with assault. I think you meant to say battery or DV, and he was acquitted of the violent charges. Well, unfortunately, the judge can. The judge can take that into consideration. I can see what you're saying on the sentence, but I'm willing to bet he's going to have to go through some type of DV treatment or classes. Yeah, they talked about, and I wish I would have put the term in here. Dang. I wish I would have typed the term, but I can't remember it now. Again, I'm not an attorney. But yeah, the judge can decide to do whatever they want. What else are y'all saying? Let me actually do this. Boom. All right. So what we're going to do is let's actually get back into the rest of this interview and see what this alternate juror had to say about the court proceedings. Because again, y'all want to be mad about the verdict, but the jury, they're regular people just like you and me. They saw the evidence and said, we cannot charge this man with those other 3 counts. Based on the law, I see how they had to find him guilty of the transportation, but the law is lame. Either way, let's see what he said.
The judge says it has to be forced. And I think the defense did show some messages where it didn't seem that it was forced.
Oh, her text messages when she talked about it.
Yeah.
That was really important to you to consider.
I think that was one aspect, yes.
Did that make you feel that it was consensual?
It did seem like it, yeah.
Talk to me about
Dang.
Jane.
Even in the videos and everything seemed very consensual.
Really?
Oh, Jesus. Yo, people were outraged when the defense came out and said that. The defense said, hey, we've got discovery. We've seen the videos. It looks consensual. I honestly wish it was a woman who was saying this, because y'all know they're going to say, oh, it's a man saying this. She was forced. Do you know what happens to victims? I wish one of the female jurors would have said this, but hey, this is the best we got right now.
Even in the videos and everything seemed very consensual.
Really?
Yeah.
Yikes.
How about with Jane? Obviously, she testified for several days, very emotional at times.
It was, yeah.
What did you think
That
of
is
her
wild.
credibility? Did you believe her?
I think it was very again, riveting, long testimony, and I did believe her, at least on some parts. Some parts were a little bit didn't add up as much. Seemed a little strange.
What part seemed strange to you?
One part for me that seemed a little strange was the night, I think, when Jane was in, when they had the fight.
Yeah.
It just, the timing seemed a little like you going from like one closet to another closet to the, it just, something didn't add up there.
How about the impact when you heard that her rent was being paid, or her lawyer is being paid by the defendant? Did that surprise you?
That was surprising, yeah, and it was that it was still
Insane.
being paid.
What did you think when you heard that?
Wow,
That these women are garbage.
Wow, it was surprising.
I want to ask you as well about, obviously I'm talking about Diddy as if I know him. Like we know his name because he's, this very famous person. Did the fact that he was so famous, did that impact you in any way? Did you know him?
No, I did not know him.
Do you know his music at all?
No, I don't. I didn't really listen to his music.
So seeing him was just a stranger.
Pretty much. I know of him, and I know,
It's just common
but
sense.
I don't really follow his music or the rap industry in general. So that might have been why. I think a lot of the jurors, I think if you look at their backgrounds, I don't think they were, they didn't follow this or that. That's probably why they were chosen. I was never expected to be chosen, to be honest.
Yeah? Well,
I wasn't even looking for this at all.
Who would be,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But let me ask you, the other jurors, when you would talk to them, I know you weren't allowed to deliberate at all in this, but when
Yeah.
you would talk to them, were they familiar with who he was? Did his celebrity status seem to impact them at all?
No, I don't think so, no. I think everyone was really waiting for the interpretation of the law. And
Is that because you were confused about the case, or because you just wanted to know your marching orders?
I think we wanted to know our marching orders and how we need to look at everything. I think we were really, I think, at least for me, we want to be, and we are asked to be as impartial as possible. So we needed to know, you hear both sides of, one side, the other side, and it's very important to know what we're actually supposed to be, ruling at, and how we're supposed to be looking at it from the judge.
There was a juror who was excused close to the end of the trial. What did you know about that, and why?
We weren't told, what happened. I think someone had mentioned that it was, I think he lied about where he was from or something like that. But really, we were kind of kept in like isolation from the whole day. Not really told much, told to not, follow any news or turn off everything. Don't talk to anyone. Don't talk among yourselves about the case, which we followed. We really followed the judge's instructions. At least I did too.
So when that
speak for
person,
myself,
yeah,
most of
well,
the time.
when that person was
fair.
no longer in the chair after seeing them there for 7 weeks on end, or however many weeks it was in at that point, did you think it was odd? Did you have concerns?
No. I mean, that's why they have, they call 18 people, because then they knew it was a long case, and there's probably going to be someone's going to get sick or someone's going to drop out. So that's why. So,
would you have wanted to hear Diddy testify? Would it have made a difference to you?
There's no way.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
It wouldn't have made a difference because it wouldn't have added to your understanding, or because you'd heard enough?
I think we heard enough. I don't know if it would have
I'm glad Diddy didn't
helped
testify.
or hindered. I haven't really thought about that as much.
Yeah.
But I think it was really helpful, again, in the end, at least for what we were looking forward to, what I was looking forward to the most, was just the 61-page judge instructions of how we're supposed to be charged the law.
They did find him guilty of those transportation to engage in prostitution charges.
Yeah, the law is
The prosecution was being very sarcastic and laughing at the idea that these men were just being paid for their time. How did you see that statement?
Well, I don't like how she asked that question, because this is in relation to Jane Doe and Cassie, not in relation to the RICO, which the men were involved in. So I don't like how she asked this question, because under the RICO, that is where you bring in the other guys, the freak offs. But how it was structured on the verdict sheet is that we're talking about Cassie specifically being transported to participate in prostitution, right? That's the issue there.
Men were just being paid for their time. How did you see that statement?
You mean the defense?
Well, the prosecution said that, well, yes, you're right. The defense said that they were being paid for the time. The prosecution was mocking that. Who did you believe?
No, I think the evidence to show that there was the transportation of prostitution, I think was overwhelming, and that's why the jury found him guilty on those two counts.
I agree.
If you had been,
because the prosecution, not only they showed the hotel records, the bank records, the flight information. For that, I think that they proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt.
If for some reason you were to ever talk to Diddy, what would you tell him about how you saw this trial?
To be honest, I really wouldn't want to talk to him or anyone associated with that. I just wanted to kind of tell my side of the story, but I really wouldn't want to, associate with him or any of the people that are with him.
Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
And it's about the video from the Intercontinental Hotel that you saw a lot.
Yeah, it was.
Was it a? Did you see it?
Sometimes they did it like frame by frame by frame.
What did you think of that? Did you see it enough? Too much? Too little? What?
I mean, it was a very bad video. I think they showed it. Enough. I mean, they tried to show it both sides, and
did it make a difference to you in the actual charges that you would have had to deliberate over? Because he wasn't charged with.
He wasn't charged with domestic violence. Right. No.
Did that surprise you?
No, because I don't think domestic violence is a federal crime. So.
Did it cloud the way you saw the rest of the charges by seeing that video?
No, I think we looked at just what we were supposed to be, question. what the judge had said we were supposed to look at, and then based off of the evidence that was presented to us, they ruled in that way.
Do you think he should go to prison?
Exactly.
That's for the judge to decide. I mean, he was found guilty on both counts. So we're the sentencing is not up to us, and not up to me. It's up to the judge, who was we were all impressed with the judge and how he was. So that the jury, I can't speak for the jury because I was an alternate, but I think we all really much liked the judge on this case. We found him to be very fair, very stern. He was no nonsense.
I can see that.
But the way he conducted himself, at least from what we saw, because again, we only saw, the beginning, and they always had, when they had sidebars, they would have the white noise, so couldn't actually hear what's being discussed, but we were always impressed with the judge.
Wow, there it is. Great interview by this juror. I think better questions could have been asked, but it gives us a lot of insight into the mindset behind a lot of what was going on. And you think about what happened during this trial, right? We got to hear from the jury. They took a note out to the judge the day before they came back with the official verdict. And they said, hey, we're good on 2 through 5. We just got to figure out what's going on with this RICO. Obviously, the issue with the RICO being the actual enterprise, what was going on, and the jury, they just decided they didn't see it. So very interesting to hear. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat. I know y'all got a lot to say about this. We got people who are so upset, man. Hey, listen, if you want to charge, I'm going to leave it alone. Shout out to the game. We got a couple of super chats in here. Let me read these. I know Amy sent one. Who else do we have? We've got Floyd, the real deal Neil in here again. He said we should petition for the federal trials to be streamed. Why aren't they streamed? Does anybody know? Is it just because they don't want to? I'm going to find this out. Let me see. I don't even know. That's funny that you say that, Floyd. And then we've also got Amy in here with the cake. It's cake time. I know, we're almost there. We got several more topics we're going to cover today, though. Thank you again to everybody that's in here. Let's see. So there's actually a federal rule of criminal procedure, number 53. And it says the court must not permit the taking of photographs in the courtroom during judicial proceedings or the broadcasting of judicial proceedings for the courtroom. So it's literally a rule. They have fair trial concerns, privacy and safety concerns, judicial integrity concerns, judicial differences. And I don't know, that could change in the future. We'll have to wait and see. Great question, Floyd. And I just learned about Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 53. So shout out to Floyd educating us over here. They don't stream because they don't want people to know how corrupt the federal system is. That part. He was found guilty for paying for some. That makes the woman a part of the crime, not victim. Sorry, but that's true. According to the law, that is correct. But we know feelings, sometimes it's facts over feelings instead of the other way around. Understandable, we're human, but we're talking about the law here. Yeah, he saw it the same way that most people did, and the whole jury agreed. The judge needs to be investigated. He's corrupt. Oh my goodness. I swear sometimes y'all just be saying stuff like Brooklyn in here saying he wasn't a part of the jury. Bro, what? He was an alternate juror. He's literally a part of the jury. Y'all just be saying stuff in here sometimes. It's all good. What people don't understand about being an alternates here and see the same evidence. Yes. Oh man, she could have asked better questions. I agree. It was so funny to hear the leak tape of Cassie threatening my old coworker. What? Yo, lovely look, you gotta chill. Don't be telling people your business. His butt is crazy. I low-key remember hearing about it when it happened. Didn't know it was on tape. Dang, that was your coworker? Sheesh. That's insane. She's feeding him answers. As long as Diddy keeps his head down while he's in jail, it'll help him, in my opinion. If he has to go in jail, I think, as we heard earlier, he'll be fine. And Amy said common sense. Yeah, not so common these days. Oh, Amy, we've got an Amy analysis. Oh my gosh. Amy, I swear, if it's about Cassie, I'm not gonna make it. Amy has been cooking Cassie worse than me for no reason. We're actually going to talk about Cassie in our next segment. If y'all haven't heard what's going on, listen. When the accusations come out against Cassie, I want y'all to keep the same energy that you had for Diddy. As soon as the lawsuit dropped about Diddy, y'all were like, oh, yep, lock him up. So keep that same energy when we get into our next topic about Cassie. I don't want to hear the explanations. Y'all are not going to blame it on Diddy. Hold this chick accountable. Amy says, I sent you my opinion. Not that y'all care. Y'all be coming for me. All right, here we got our Amy analysis for today. Jesus. Oh, man. Here we go. Amy says, so let me make this make sense. Cassie sued and was paid $20 million for trafficking, prostitution, and abuse. Cassie testified against P. Diddy and stated, I don't want to leave because someone else would have done it. I was very jealous over him. The prosecution charged him with prostitution, a law of double jeopardy, and denied him bond. It's because he is a black, rich man. Oh my goodness. No, I do not agree with the man hitting a woman for any reason. I'm not going to read that part out loud, but I'm not going to read that part. Cassie needs to return the $20 million and they need to free P. Diddy because he's guilty of being what? Sad. She and Jane willingly had intercourse. They were willingly prostitutes who wanted to please him at any cost. For the entertainment Cassie provided, she don't owe him not one red cent. Personally, I never saw it as trafficking. A lot of cases today that they labeled as trafficking is what these 18, 19, 20 and older freaky females do willingly. The oldest profession, prostitution. So lock them up then. Oh my goodness. Amy. Jesus. Oh man. Shout out to Amy. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. We got CPE in here with the 5 bomb. Says happy 4th, everyone. Shout out to America. We're repping America today. We rep America every day. Thank you again to all 2,800 of y'all that are in the building. Where y'all coming from? Guys, like the video, please. I am begging you. If there were a person, a poster child, a picture in the dictionary next to begging for likes, it would be me. Likes are free, guys. It takes less than a second. Please, I am begging you with everything I have to like the video. I don't care. I'm going to beg. Thank y'all. It's free. All right. Like the video. Watch old Bill Burr on the reasons to. Yeah, Bill Burr is hilarious. Amy in here with the 10 bomb. Oh, she going crazy. Amy says, what difference does it make what Cassie and Diddy did together as consenting adults? The question is trafficking, and isn't she liable if she was engaged in it? Yes, that's where immunity comes in. And listen, guys, I think the transportation to engage in prostitution law is insane, considering where Instagram's at, considering where OF is, considering where, as you guys mentioned, all these apparently legal escort services that are out there. I mean, you can go to a website and book one. How is that possible? But then this man's going to be held liable for participating. The laws need to change. The laws need to change, y'all. You can't have it both ways. You can't have the double standard. So if you're going to allow these women, these dudes to have certain profession, why are you punishing the person who's participating in that profession? Because they put them on a plane? This is so dumb. It's so dumb. But again, it sucks. Diddy, you broke the law, unfortunately. And you can't be fluing people out. Can't be flying people out. You just can't do it. So as a person with money, you just have to move smarter. And Diddy was moving dumb. Big dumb. See if you can pull up the video of Clayton Howard responding to the backlash he's receiving for suing Cassie. Oh, I think we're actually going to talk about this next. Is that who? I didn't read this whole article. Yeah, I've got it. I've got it here. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about this. And shout out, Amy actually put me onto this. This is hilarious. Again, I want y'all to keep that same energy. Accusations came out about Diddy. Y'all said, I knew it. Lock him up. He's disgusting. Oh, Diddy, how could you do this to Cassie? I want y'all to keep this same energy for this next topic we're about to get into. All right, let me put Amy's reminder up there for y'all to like the video, because some of y'all be over there lacking, man. I cannot believe we got almost 3,000 folks, 3,000 amazing people in here, and y'all haven't liked the video yet. Come on now. Amy said she's a victim, though. She was a victim of DV, but this case was not about that. It's that simple, Amy. I don't see her as a victim in this case. I agree. I see her as a co-conspirator. She is. She is. She is. She is. Amy's right. Amy's 1000% right. In this case, yes, she is. When it comes to RICO, when it comes to trafficking, when it comes to transportation for prostitution, Cassie was right there with him, not only participating, but facilitating. If this was an everyday person, we would not be saying give him less years for this, man. Yes, we would. We absolutely would. All Diddy's guilty of is being a freak and flying people out. Why is this a federal case? You know why we would say this if it were just a regular everyday person? Because this case isn't about DV. You know, here on this channel, we can look at things objectively and we can separate, in this case, what the prosecution's trying to show by showing this video of Diddy kicking Cassie up and down the hotel hallway. That's great, guys. Yes. And the defense said it. If this is a DV case, guys, guess what? Brian Steele, Nicole Westmoreland, Mr. Agnifilo, we would not be here. We would have signed a plea deal a year ago and be like, hey, Diddy, keep your hands to yourself. What's wrong with you? You're a grown man doing that on camera, worth close to $1 billion. You got to go. But guess what? That's not what this case was about. And again, I'm not going to keep beating the dead horse. I know y'all have common sense. I think a lot of you just hated Diddy and you hate that he put his hands on Cassie. And I hate that he did that as well. But when it comes to the facts of this case, when it comes to the charges of this case, the DV does not factor in. Period. Amy sent one more thing. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Amy, oh, this is important. She says, I have to take the Amy says she has to take trafficking courses every year for her license. I have not shown any interest in this. I have not shown any interest in this case because what? There were both adults and no underage children involved. That was the thing for me as well. Yes, Cassie was young and being introduced to freaky stuff, but it's not illegal for adults to engage in freaky, you know what, or other things. If so, then these sex workers and their profession should be illegal. It's free on the internet. For it to be trafficking, it has to be coerced in adults. Was she coerced into the lifestyle, or did she join in hoping to gain something? Now, they need to indict Cassie for her own trial of trafficking and prostitution. We sat there and heard everybody say that she was the one who paid them, and she was the one organizing the freak-offs. Matter of fact, go ahead and add extortion and blackmail to the charges too for good measure. Dang, Amy! I guess again, this is a legal question. So for any of our law people or lawyers in here, with Cassie having immunity at the federal level, I'm sure she was taken care of by the feds, but would that federal immunity apply to the state level? because we heard what was happening in Miami. We heard what was happening in California. Could the state of California, could the state of Florida charge Cassie with something at this point? I highly doubt that they can, because it's gone this far and she testified. I can imagine she would want to make sure that, listen, guys, I'm not saying anything about this unless I'm protected at the state level too. I would want to know, because wouldn't it be something, and we're going to talk about it here in a second. Wouldn't it be something if she ended up getting some state charges for what she participated in? Better chance in Florida than California? I don't know. Les Cleaver says, Amy telling it like it is with the 2-bomb. Amen. She don't play, man. They're not going to like that, Amy. I don't know why why she keeps making me do this. But Amy, she's not afraid. Amy doesn't run from the smoke, though. She's tough. Once I heard Cassie and Jane on the stand telling everyone dirty detail, I said to myself, that's Gina. We're smart for not taking the stand. It did not make them look good. Cassie is guilty of the same prostitution charges as Diddy was just convicted of. DJ Vlad interviewed 3 of the escorts. All 3 of them said the same thing. Cassie picked them. She contacted them for freak-offs. She enjoyed the experiences and paid for them. Meanwhile, she's sitting on a $13 million and writing letters to the judge asking him not to give Diddy bail. Make it make sense. She's a menace. She's a menace. And fine, you know what, guys? Hey, let's do this. Let's hold Diddy accountable. Let's just sit here and say, hey, you know what? Diddy should have been found guilty of every single thing said in this trial. If that's the case, then where's that smoke for Cassie? If that's how you guys feel, everybody in my comments, everybody in the DMs saying, how could you defend this man? If you're really objective and you really looked at the evidence, you saw Cassie's involvement. So if you say Diddy is guilty of all this stuff, Diddy is this monster who flew people out, who had them do these things. If you saw all of that evidence, how can you not hold Cassie accountable for enjoying it, wanting to participate, asking for it, going back and doing it over and over and over and over and over? As Amy said, picking the people participating, contacting them, enjoying it, paying them. How do you guys justify that? How? Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis don't have time for that right now. That's a fair point. Gavin Newsom needs to make sure he doesn't bankrupt California. He needs to focus on that. Women have no autonomy. Oh, another word, accountability. She could get a restraining order against him at the local level, but to keep him in federal prison is too much, in my opinion. Amy says Diddy was definitely guilty of DV, but he wasn't on trial for that and gave her $20 million for that. And the hotel gave her $20 million and she never pressed charges. She just wanted money. So what more do y'all want? They want Diddy to pay and Cassie to not be held accountable. Why aren't y'all keeping that same energy for Cassie? That's what I want to know. Odd question, but does this mean creating pornography is illegal and can get you life in prison? No. No. It's not illegal. Fact. Amy says fact is it was a money grab to slander his name and image. Nothing that she claimed in court actually happened when they cross-examined her. By giving her immunity, she could lie and not be charged with perjury. Amy gets it. And this is why she's the best. Wow. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get into this insane story. Guys, when I saw this, I couldn't believe it, but I'm glad. Cassie needs to be held accountable. I'm so sick of all of y'all painting Cassie as such a pure victim. Is she a victim? Yes. She was a victim at one point, as we clearly saw, of DV. But she's not a pure victim. Cassie was involved in the transportation for prostitution. It's plain as day, guys. She wanted some of them. We saw the evidence. The jury saw it. She wanted some of the freak offs. She picked out the escorts. And now some of the escorts, they're fighting back. They said, that 30 million's looking kind of good right now. Come here, Cassie. I want to talk to you for a second. So what happened? Well, Cassie and Diddy sued. Male escort claims Cassie gave him an STD. Not only that, but he also claims that she aborted their pregnancy. Wow. Guys, keep that same energy, please. If this were flipped and it was a Jane Doe and they said Diddy gave him STD, you guys would be like, oh man, again, I knew it. Throw him under the jail. Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. Clayton Howard, one of the male escort prosecutors say Diddy hired, is dragging Diddy and Cassie to court. And he says Cassie gave him an STD and got an abortion after he got her pregnant. Yikes. Howard, who says he went by Dave when he was hired for the freak offs with Diddy and Cassie, makes the salacious claims in a new lawsuit obtained by TMZ. I want to see this lawsuit. The escort claims he contracted an STD from having intercourse with Cassie, and he says he impregnated her and she aborted the pregnancy without telling him. And he alleges she then continued to have unprotected intercourse with him. Oh boy. Howard is one of 7 male escorts federal prosecutors in Diddy's criminal case say were transported across state lines for the purpose of prostitution. Many of them Cassie picked. Many of them Cassie wanted. He claimed he was hired for freak-offs with Diddy and Cassie starting in 2009. And he says for more than 5 years, they trafficked him for the purposes of commercial intercourse, using him as an entertainment to satisfy their adult fantasies and personal ambitions. Howard claims Diddy and Cassie drugged, manipulated, and traumatized him while they themselves engaged in toxic domestic abuse relationship that often became violent. Here we go. Let's talk about it.
He's sitting in a jail cell right now, and the judge denied him bail. And he could listen. He's not going to get life, and we know that was on the line.
Oh, and by the way, the government, they filed a letter. What's the government going to ask for? They're going to ask for 50 to 60 months or something like that. The sentencing guidelines, frankly, are 20 to 27. He was acquitted. The judge denied bail, but the judge specifically said, look, I have to because they're alleging it's a crime of violence. And the defense basically conceded the violence and said that this is a domestic violence case, except he's not being charged with domestic violence. He had a standard. The judge adhered to the standard. That doesn't mean that at sentencing, he's not going to do the right thing.
So what do you think he'll get? You sound like you're thinking like 3-4 years.
No, I think if there's any justice, he'll get 21 months time served, something like that. Even if he were to get 36, he's eligible for all kinds of other stuff. He's not going to do much more time.
So you think he'll get out? You think he'll get out within a year?
Oh yeah, he should. I think he'll be out within a year, 18 months at the most. I think there's a distinct possibility that he gets sentenced to something akin to time served.
Would you call Tenny and see if we can just talk to her by phone, just get a reaction?
Would I call her?
Yeah, like right now.
She's in the next room, and I'm on childcare duty because they're going to go celebrate.
Well, would she walk in for 2 minutes and just? We'd love to hear from her. She started.
His daughter was
Hold on,
one of the defense attorneys.
Come here for 1 second. Come here.
I see what's happening.
Come here.
I see what Harvey's doing.
Oh my God, Tenny! I'm not the evil dragon.
He's not
Tenny.
ask you anything, but I'm going to just.
I was gonna congratulate you on being pregnant. I was gonna congratulate you on winning.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
Was this? Did you expect this? I'm just so curious because
I see what you're doing.
Yeah,
well, no, I'm dying to know. I mean, this is all.
She said, "Hey, Teddy's smart." She said, "Run me my money, boy." You know what time it is. You want that exclusive interview? Run it up. All right. Shout out to Harvey. He says, "This is Clayton Howard, and guys, I've got the lawsuit, so we're gonna go over it here in a second. I was able to find it." He says Cassie manipulated him into taking ecstasy and having unprotected intercourse. And he says she would order him to pleasure himself for hours on end, resulting in tears, skin peeling, and scabbing of his genitals. What? Oh my. Howard claims his dealings with Diddy and Cassie left him with physical and psychological injury, lost wages and benefits, medical expenses, pain and suffering, emotional distress, and mental anguish, plus loss of enjoyment of life. Dang. He was not called as a witness, but was mentioned several times during testimony in Diddy's trial. A federal agent testified about Clayton's stay at the Four Seasons, a flight from New York to LA, all paid by Diddy. Wow. Let's go ahead and get into it, guys. I've got the document here. I was able to find it. Let's break it down. Let's see what Mr. Howard has to say in this. Oh my gosh. Man, this is a wild, crazy world that we live in. Let me go ahead and get this over here for y'all, and we'll get into it. We've got Clayton Howard. Who is he going up against? Hold on a second. There we go. Clayton Howard versus Sean Combs, Cassie Ventura, Bad Boy Records, Epic Records, Combs Enterprises, and Beverly Hills Hotel Corporation and Doe Corporation. 1 through 10. Interesting. So they're not named here. Trigger warning. This document contains highly graphic information, which I will be editing as much as I can. This is a family show of a sexual nature, including SA. Oh my. Plaintiff Clayton Howard, aka Dave, and Mr. Howard hereby alleges as for his complaint against the defendant Diddy and Cassie, Bad Boy Entertainment, and all them other folks as follows. Plaintiff Clayton Howard brings the civil action against defendants Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura arising from an 8-year period of systematic exploitation, trafficking, and abuse that occurred between approximately 2009 and 2019. This case exposes the darker truth behind the widely publicized narrative surrounding defendant Cassie's recent civil settlement and the ongoing criminal prosecution of defendant Combs. Diddy is a prominent rapper and record executive known by his stage name, Diddy, who rose to fame in early 1990s with his record label Bad Boy Records and is regularly referred to as a hip-hop mogul. Cassie, known professionally as Cassie, is a singer, actress, and model who gained prominence in the early 2000s with her single Me and You and appeared in films including The Perfect Match, Step It Up 2, The Streets. Defendants maintain a highly publicized romantic relationship from 2007 to 2018, during which both were toxic individuals addicted to opiates and methamphetamines, who had no regard for others or the law. Their relationship was characterized by sexually explicit depraved activity categorized as swinging, with defendants Combe harboring a specific fetish for voyeurism. The relationship was abusive, with Diddy frequently physically assaulting defendant Cassie in response to domestic incidents neither could emotionally control. The misleading public narrative. In late 2023, Cassie filed a civil action against Diddy pursuant to gender-motivated Violence Act, alleging that Combs manipulated, abused, and controlled her for over a decade through violent behavior and disturbing demands. She claimed to have spent over a decade trapped in a cycle of abuse, violence, and trafficking, including allegations that Combs, Diddy, forced her to engage in acts with male workers while he sat in the corner and pleasured himself and filmed the encounters. The parties settled this action within 24 hours for $20 million, and Mr. Howard wants a piece of that. Subsequently, the office of the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York arrested and indicted Diddy for trafficking and violations of the Mann Act, and with the prosecution's foundation based largely on defendant Cassie's allegations. Combs is currently faces trial on RICO charges. And again, guys, this was filed last week on Wednesday. So it was filed last Wednesday. All right. We have, contrary to the narrative presented in Cassie's civil complaint and subsequent criminal prosecution, the truth reveals a far more complex and disturbing reality. Defendant Cassie was not merely a victim forced into sexual encounters. Some of y'all ain't gonna like that. With male escorts, but rather an active and engaged participant who willingly manipulated and exploited others, including the plaintiff, to satisfy the sexually depraved desires of the defendant Diddy and herself. Oh my. For more than 8 years, defendant operated a scheme whereby they systematically exploited the plaintiff through manipulation, coercion, controlled substances, and threats of violence to engage in non-consensual activities, adult activities, for their gratification and commercial purposes. Cassie accomplished this exploitation by concealing her identity and fabricating the narrative that she and Diddy were married, using this deception to entice men into drug use and certain encounters. Defendants drugged the plaintiff with controlled substances, including MDMA, in doses 3 times stronger than what the defendant Cassie herself consumed, to lower his inhibitions and facilitate the exploitation. Defendant Cassie and these substances strategically, like a spider catching its prey in a web, to manipulate the plaintiff into unprotected intercourse designed to please Diddy and prove her devotion to his appetites. Oh my God. Cassie would command the plaintiff to pleasure himself for hours while she pleasured herself to climax, visibly satisfying herself at the sight of the plaintiff's anatomy. He's bigging himself up there. Hey, Clayton, do your thing, man. I ain't mad at it. These extended self-pleasuring sessions often left the plaintiff his genitals bruised and swollen, injuries about which he would complain to the Cassie about, seeking consideration. He'd be like, please don't make me do this. Oh man, these are adults, guys. But I guess power will do that to you. I don't know. Also, let me go ahead and say this for the record. I told you guys to keep the same energy. I'm keeping the same energy here. There's a reason this is coming out. Mr. Clayton's making this claim because Cassie, she just got a lot of money and Diddy still has a lot of money. So again, I believe innocent until proven guilty. We're going to see how this plays out. They might want to settle it though. However, defendant Cassie showed no mercy, simply demanding keep going compliance while pleasuring herself in the manner she hoped would satisfy Diddy, who derived satisfaction from watching her gratification through his voyeuristic desires. During these encounters, Diddy watched silently in the shadows, directing the activities as if he were a film director orchestrating his vision. Once Cassie was ready to begin, Diddy regulated her responses and controlled the rate of activity, exercising complete dominance over both the plaintiff and Cassie in what the couple considered a special shared experience. While Diddy appeared to serve as a protector rather than an oppressor, wow, he's giving Diddy some props, supporting Cassie's desires and catering to her with wine and fruit during encounters, his presence was deliberately intimidating as a part of his role in protecting his partner from the men they exploited. Threats of violence were implied when the defendant Combs, Diddy, wished to assert control, and during at least one encounter, he threatened to pistol whip the plaintiff, directing Cassie to the master suite to retrieve his firearm. Oh my goodness. At no time did Cassie display fear when engaged in or about to engage in encounters. He said she wanted it. All abuse witnessed by the plaintiff occurred due to domestic complications between the defendants, including jealousy, ego, and arrogance, aided by extensive drug use and sleep deprivation, which contributed to violent outbursts from Diddy, who consumed far more drugs than Cassie. Right now, we've got the assault and non-consensual recording. I can't be doing that. Over the years, the plaintiff was assaulted by the defendant Cassie, who would manipulate and force herself upon the plaintiff during her oh boy. I can do this. Over the years, the plaintiff was assaulted by Cassie, who would manipulate and force herself upon the plaintiff while she was on her period against his will. Hey, yo. Defendants filmed the plaintiff in compromising encounters without his consent for years, creating recordings that the couple would watch together after the encounters ended and use for mutual pleasuring. When the plaintiff confronted the defendant's Cassie, which, by the way, how does he know this? I want to know how he knows that. When the plaintiff confronted Cassie about the recordings and vocalized his desire not to be recorded, she explained that she enjoyed their relationship and provided her reasons for the recording. Cassie then opened her MacBook to a previous recording and then pleasured herself to climax in front of the plaintiff while watching an encounter involving the two of them, demonstrating the extent of her manipulation and control. She said, "See, this makes me feel so good." The victim becomes the victimizer. Oh my gosh. Does this sound like a victim to you? Commercial trafficking. For more than 5 years, the defendant trafficked plaintiff for purposes of commercial intercourse, using him as an entertainment to satisfy their certain fantasies and personal ambitions. The couple drugged, manipulated, and traumatized the plaintiff while themselves engaging in a toxic, domestically abusive relationship that often became violent. Cassie had a specific preference in selecting her companions and chose the plaintiff for 8 years. 8 years. 8 years. Just in case y'all didn't hear me. Over many other available options, as subsequent criminal trial proceedings have revealed. The allegations demonstrate that defendant Cassie deceived, manipulated, and injured plaintiff, and therefore should be held accountable alongside defendant Combs, as the two were partners in these criminal enterprises. That's what we've been saying. Diddy's a monster. Guess who else is a monster? Obstruction of justice and witness manipulation. Plaintiff's ability to seek timely legal recourse was deliberately frustrated through a coordinated effort involving his former counsel, who communicated with federal prosecutors without the plaintiff's presence. The plaintiff was advised to remain silent and was manipulated into inaction, with his attorneys intentionally delaying action to protect defendant Cassie's credibility. Oh, they were working with the feds. The plaintiff was specifically advised that he should file a complaint. He would lose credibility before the court and therefore should refrain from doing so if he was to do what was right and tell the truth. His counsel deceived, ignored, and misled him regarding the creation of the initial complaint against the defendants and when it would be filed. Hey, somebody needs to check on Mr. Clayton. He can't be shining a light on the feds like this. Make sure he's good. Despite serving as a complaint witness for the government and providing information that was later corroborated by investigators, thereby validating his credibility and the truthfulness of his statements, federal prosecutors ultimately withheld the plaintiff's testimony despite its corroborative value and his valid allegations against both defendants. Hey, Mr. Clayton needs to be protected. Somebody make sure he's good. Denial of justice and present claims. For many years, the plaintiff has lived with this trauma in silence, forced to endure psychological and physical consequences with no visible venue for justice. While defendant Cassie's allegations have destroyed Diddy's career, she has escaped the liability by using allegations of abuse to avoid criminal responsibility for her own actions, thereby denying victims like the plaintiff the justice of which they are entitled. Wow. How dare this man hold Cassie accountable? He's a monster. It's disgusting. With the opening of legislation that granted survivors a look-back window to seek justice against offenders, the plaintiff learned he had been given a second chance to obtain the justice he deserved. The plaintiff has sought justice for over a year, only to be denied through the manipulation of legal professionals who wish to affect the criminal trial of Diddy. Wow. So Fed said, hey, y'all better chill on this. Like, we need Cassie to look a certain way. We need Cassie to appear credible. Our only chance at this case is if Cassie looks credible. Well, of course she got on the stand. She wasn't credible. And they told this man to wait. So the feds call up his attorneys and they say, y'all cannot bring this lawsuit. You do that, there's going to be trouble. All right, we won't bring the lawsuit. Hey, Mr. Clayton. Sorry, you got to chill. We're going to wait on this. Just take some time. It'll be better for you. Just wait. He's like, oh, okay. They're my attorneys. They have my best interests in mind. Yikes. I wonder if this can be proved. If it can, boy, y'all say a prayer for Mr. Howard. Mr. Howard was used and manipulated. Now, tired of the misconduct and incompetence, he has sought action himself and refuses to remain silent any longer in the face of this systemic exploitation, abuse, and attorney misconduct. All right. And then they cite some law here. We ain't going to get into all that. And of course, last but not least, he cites the parties. We know who the parties are. Obviously, the allegations. Mr. Howard, he meets Diddy and Cassie under fraudulent circumstances. Okay, so somebody lied here. Dave met Cassie in 2009. Cassie identified herself as Jackie Starr, invited Dave, or Mr. Howard, to the London hotel located in New York City to serve as a male companion, an escort, and provide her with time and company in the privacy of her hotel room for an agreed upon hourly rate. Here come the escort services, guys. We talked about it. Cassie attempted to conceal her identity through the use of makeup, a large red wig, and a dim lighting in the room, which created poor visual conditions. Cassie failed to inform Mr. Howard prior to the meeting that another party would be present, aka Diddy. Immediately after greeting Mr. Howard, Cassie offered him alcohol and marijuana cigarette, then instructed him to be seated in the living room. The two parties spoke for approximately 30 minutes while becoming familiar and relaxed. After approximately 30 minutes, Cassie asked to see the personal identification of Mr. Howard for safety purposes so she would, quote, know who he really was. Having nothing to hide and wanting to make a woman he assumed was alone comfortable, he provided Cassie with his driver's license revealing his true identity. Got him. Cassie informed Mr. Howard of her intentions by standing and requesting that he expose his genitals. Under the influence of the substances provided, Mr. Howard agreed to Cassie's request, and she claimed to be impressed.
Hey, yo.
ClassE then informed Mr. Howard that they were not alone and that her husband was upstairs, but assured him that the situation was acceptable because her husband had consented to her having a male companion visit to where things might lead. Miss Ventura, Cassie, explained that she and her husband were participants in the lifestyle and that her husband preferred to watch her be pleasured by men with large male reproductive organs. Oh, man. Cassie stated that she preferred men with darker complexions, complimenting Mr. Howard's complexion before excusing herself to retrieve her husband so that the activities could begin. Cassie retrieved Diddy, whom she introduced as her husband and presented to Mr. Howard under the alias Frank, as if he didn't know who Diddy was. Diddy greeted Mr. Howard with indifference, then retrieved baby oil and Astroglide lubricant, both of which had been positioned on a platter in the center of the table. Diddy then retreated to a darkened corner of the room where poor lighting made it difficult to observe his movements clearly. Mr. Howard was instructed not to address Diddy directly and to speak only to Cassie. You're gonna ruin the mood, man. Don't talk to me. Don't ask me if I'm doing a good job. Just focus on her. I'll tell Cassie what to do. Don't even look at me, dude. Like, come on. That's not how this works. Diddy concealed his identity by wearing a baseball cap pulled low over his eyebrows, a cloth tied around his nose and mouth. There we go, which obstructed his facial features and made him unrecognizable. When Mr. Combs did speak, it was to inquire whether Cassie was acceptable or if she needed anything. Diddy also provided direction for both Mr. Howard and Cassie, regulating the pace of their physical contact, and will be further explained in subsequent paragraphs. Oh. Hey, listen, I went down this rabbit hole. I guess we got to do it. The first encounter and the structure of activities. The first encounter served as the plaintiff's initial education into what would be required of him by the defendants, with all subsequent encounters following an identical structure that forms the basis for the deception of all encounters described hereafter within this complaint. During each encounter, Mr. Howard had no autonomy. He was required to follow orders and was expected not to disobey. Financial compensation was used as a form of dominance once Mr. Howard committed to any activity within the encounter. Why'd you go back, Mr. Howard? For 8 years. Mr. Howard was instructed by Cassie to remove all his clothing upon entry into the suite and to surrender his clothing and phones to Cassie. Mr. Howard's cell phone was turned off and surrendered with his clothing to Cassie, which prevented him from leaving by choice without compromising his safety. Some suites required keys to access the floors and had no access to stairwells without triggering alarms, making escape difficult. They held him against his will. Mr. Howard, allegedly. Mr. Howard was instructed by Cassie to apply baby oil to his naked body. When Mr. Howard applied the oil to his hand and began to distribute it evenly, Cassie would use her own bottle to saturate Mr. Howard's chest, abdomen, arms with the oil before stepping closer and attempting to apply it evenly herself. Cassie often sprayed Mr. Howard with oil during application to make distribution over the skin easier. The defendant structured the encounters into 4 phases: non-touch, soft floor play, fellatio, and number 4, intercourse, which were directed by Diddy for the purposes of controlling Cassie's arousal and timing of the climax. During these phases, Mr. Howard had no input or ability to offer suggestions and was simply expected to comply. Through the use of manipulation and financial coercion, Mr. Howard would remain in these phases for hours, with each individual stage lasting for over an hour. Oof. I'm almost at the point where I say this poor man, but hey, do your job, brother. You got paid. Cassie controlled the start of the activity and would seek Diddy's permission regarding when she could progress to the next stage. If Diddy was not ready, he would refuse permission, but he often granted Cassie permission to pleasure herself if she requested. Once the activity began, Diddy controlled the progression and pace, seeking to control Cassie's desire while pleasuring himself rather than directly participating. These prolonged self-pleasuring sessions frequently caused skin tears and scabs to Mr. Howard's genitals, causing him severe pain and scarring. While Mr. Howard stood covered in baby oil, Cassie and Diddy would pleasure themselves while watching him, which gave him a constant feeling of uneasiness and uncertainty. While Mr. Howard was ordered to stand naked, both defendants would pleasure themselves to the point of climax. Both defendants would be intoxicated using substances and alcohol to alter their moods and keep them awake. Some of these substances were Schedule I narcotics, including amphetamines and opiates. The specific drugs used, including ecstasy, GHB, ketamine, cocaine, MDMA, Molly, and marijuana. Cassie, in the earlier and middle years, was extremely physical with Mr. Howard and would. Grace, get out of here. Grace, what are you doing in here? Oh my gosh. Cassie, in the earlier and middle years, was extremely physical with Mr. Howard and would. Amy, get Grace in here. And would orally pleasure him for periods exceeding 1 hour at times. Dehydrated from drugs, lack of water, and constant engagement in oral pleasure, Cassie would often perform orally until she had to stop. Her jaw became sore from prolonged activity. When intercourse was to occur, Cassie's arousal would be so heightened that she would often beg Diddy to allow her to engage. What? Mr. Howard was directed to engage in contact with Cassie until she climaxed and was only allowed to stop once Cassie reached climax. Once Diddy consented to the sexual contact, Cassie controlled the degree of intimacy, including kissing, the intensity of the kissing, and whether she would engage in unprotected intercourse, as will be described in later paragraphs. No, I don't know how much longer we can do this. That's probably not a great statement to make considering the topic. Once the climax of Cassie occurred, the cycle would be repeated. One encounter with Cassie could consist of 15 to 30 individual sessions, each including all 4 stages. The number of sessions also depended on the number of days Mr. Howard would be detained. Interesting use of words there. Until the defendants were ready to return his phone and clothing and release him. If Mr. Howard attempted to leave, he would be coerced by Mrs. Ventura, Cassie, into waiting, or ignored if he knocked on the suite's master bedroom door seeking to retrieve his items to leave. Wow. How y'all feel about this? Are y'all gonna keep the same energy? Hey, all you big anti-Diddy folks, I want to see you guys cover this. You know who you are. Y'all can say their names in the comments in the chat if you want to. I'm calling you guys out, or you women out specifically. I want to see y'all cover this. Again, I'm going to stay consistent. I'm going to stay objective. A lot of these civil cases I've seen, they're money grabs. They're BS. They don't make sense. But now that we've seen the Diddy trial, we've seen all the things y'all have said about how much of a monster Diddy is? Are you going to take this as face value? Or is it because the tables aren't turned and because it's a woman who's allegedly the aggressor and it's a man that's a victim? Are things different? I want to know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat. Call them out. Y'all can say their names. I'm not going to read them and say them out loud. You know who they are. I can't believe Grace was in here. Oh my goodness. Jesus Christ. Shout out to Dottie. I love you, girl. Just joining. Sounds like at the perfect time. Well, y'all think T Lies is going to cover this lawsuit against Cassie? What? Interesting. I wonder who that is. Who could you be talking about? I don't know. I'll leave it alone. Like the video of him. Has Court TV got a case right in the last 10 years? Shout out to Court TV. I believe him, but sir, you kept this up for 5 years straight. You kept going. So get the F out of here. What about Cassie being with Diddy for that long? You see why this is fun. Oh, but that's different. That's different, right? It's different because it's Cassie. It's different because it's a man and not a woman. All right. Amy has some final thoughts. She says, where did I stop? Let me see. Amy says, I see a lot of people who were survivors of assault feeling as if people who feel Cassie was just as guilty as Diddy are downplaying their experiences. We truly aren't. I understand. We truly aren't. I understand all the talk online can be triggering, and I wholeheartedly empathize with it. And what you know, and want you to know, we stand against assault to anyone and stand alongside you in your journey of healing and restoration. In that stand, we have to hold Cassie accountable because she, in some instances, without Diddy around and without his knowledge, committed sexual crimes. Hence the reason she asked for immunity before her testimony. She wasn't a kid who did this. She was fully grown. She was a fully grown woman. Some of these acts took place up until she was 31. Your story is probably the complete opposite. You were truly a victim and played no parts in inflicting the same pain you experienced onto someone else. Maybe. That's the difference. Cassie is a predator herself. She was a victim of DV, not SA. Also, she says, this Diddy case shows both worlds from a male and female perspective, but a dynamic where only the man is to be held accountable. Yeah, what else is new? They continue to say Cassie was only 19 when they got together. That's a lie. She met him at 19 while she was dating Ryan Leslie, who at the time happened to be at least 8 years older than she was. She had his name tatted on her body. So they were clearly you-know-whatin'. 3 years after she broke up with Ryan, she got with Diddy because he told her he could get her career going. So she made a choice. For 10 years, she made a choice. When does her choices become her issue and not the responsibility of a man? Never. Not in 2025. According to Cassie, she didn't like Diddy when she met him. So when did she start? Powerful men wield power and money buys privilege for rich, powerful men. Women more than 90% use their feminine wiles to get them the things that they want. Why is that not held against them when they use it on vulnerable men to get the things that they want and desire without working to obtain it? Well, because at that point, then that's when we say, but they're adults. Yes, Diddy beat Cassie in the elevator. Yes, he was wrong. Diddy admitted that. His lawyers admitted it. We admitted it. Everybody knows it. But to say that man held her hostage for 10 dang years and forced her to do freaky-ish is insane. I'm over this whole case. She wanted to be rich and famous, and she effed her way there. The end. God dang. Amy's final thoughts. That's your third Amy analysis of the day. Boy. And there's so much truth there. You know, there is a double standard, and I get double standards exist. Fine. It is what it is. But for people who are out here reporting on this, talking about it, reacting to it, I want you to keep that same energy. This is a time, and the time was obviously going to come, when Cassie would have to be held accountable. The time is now. The time is here. And whether or not this is true or not, it would be pretty easy to prove if Diddy and Cassie were where they said they were in this. If Diddy and Cassie participated in the things that Mr. Howard's alleging that they did, especially when it comes to a civil lawsuit. I want to know how much he's seeking in this, to be honest. I want to read the rest of this so bad, but we're a family show, guys. So what I'll do is I'm going to drop this over on the Patreon for y'all. Shout out to the Patreon gang, by the way. I will drop this full lawsuit over there, and I may actually go through the full thing for y'all on Patreon, because I just can't believe how much detail. We're on page 15. How much detail is in this? I mean, it's very, very specific detail, and allegedly there's recordings of it, right? Cassie manipulates Mr. Howard into using drugs, Molly, and unprotected sex. Shh. I try not to say that on this show. Mr. Howard is drugged by Diddy and Cassie. We have Diddy drugs Mr. Howard. We have Diddy and Cassie coerce Mr. Howard into trafficking. Cassie assaults Mr. Howard in the LA Beverly Hills hotel. Okay, how does a man get assaulted? How does a man get SA'd by a woman? Oh my. I'm not saying it's not possible. I just want to know how it happened. Defendant trafficked Mr. Howard, LA, in the rains. Upon arrival, the plaintiff was instructed to wait, but feeling uncomfortable being in a new city, within minutes, he was contacted by Diddy. What happened? Once his clothing was removed, she, Cassie, manipulated him through foreplay into a compromising position on the sofa. Once on the sofa, hold on, let me back up. Cassie was angry with Mr. Howard. The anger originated from his decision to spend his anniversary with his own partner and not fly to LA that day at the invitation of Cassie. Through the use of manipulation and physical positioning, coupled with the pressure of the presence of Diddy, Cassie forced a sexual encounter upon Mr. Howard. But why'd you go there, my guy? Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not reading this right now. All right. This is very graphic. We're going to have to do this over on Patreon. Mr. Howard contracts an STD from Cassie. What? Cassie's disregard for the health and safety of others while attempting to satisfy her fantasies of her lover caused personal injury to Mr. Howard when he contracted an STD from her during an encounter where the two engaged in unprotected intercourse. Although Mr. Howard met Cassie as a male companion, he was STD free and rarely had unprotected intercourse with anyone. While engaged in the coercion of Diddy and Cassie, Mr. Howard was in a committed monogamous relationship. What? which he had begun before Cassie. Besides his partner, Cassie was the only other partner that Mr. Howard did not use. He was just work, guys. I cannot stand these sex workers, man. They get on my nerves. Get rid of them, man. Just end the whole profession. Bro, get out of here. I'm done with this dude. While engaging in the coercion of Diddy and Cassie, Mr. Howard was in a committed monogamous relationship. I can't stand y'all sex workers, man. Jesus, y'all get on my nerves. Y'all are how? It's just work? Is that what we're gonna say? Man, y'all, oh my gosh. Besides his partner, Cassie was the only one he was having unprotected intercourse with. During the time of the contraction, Mr. Howard had been semi-retired as a male provider, and Cassie being his last client before he exited completely. He was gainfully employed in a committed relationship with a partner, and he lived with them 7 days a week. Shortly after one encounter, Mr. Howard began to feel strange sensations when urinating. This quickly worsened, causing him to immediately consult a diagnostic center seeking to have his blood and urine tested. The results returned with Mr. Howard having contracted chlamydia. Several weeks later, when Mr. Howard saw Cassie again, the STD came up in conversation when Cassie revealed she had contracted it and politely advised Mr. Howard to get himself checked, also blaming the infidelity committed by Diddy for her infection. Mr. Howard witnesses horrific acts of DV against Cassie. Was he in the hotel that day with the video? During no encounter was Cassie ever assaulted for a perceived lack of interest, hesitation, poor performance, or direct refusal to engage in encounters. He wanted to be clear about that. Mr. Howard recalls Diddy's assault of Cassie in New York after a perceived slight he falsely assumed to be validated. He did so by punching her twice in the chest in the presence of Mr. Howard. Disgusting. Mr. Howard would witness Diddy grabbing, kicking, and shoving Cassie in response to the domestic arguments. On another occasion, Mr. Howard witnessed Diddy assault Cassie for making Mr. Howard a drink despite being told by Mr. Combs not to. On another occasion, Diddy attacked Cassie because he assumed Cassie was mocking the size of his stuff when he attempted to bed her immediately after Mr. Howard was... I can't. We're not doing this. Mr. Howard cooperates with the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Boy, this is some deep stuff. Here we got the first cause of action. Trafficking, obviously. Second, civil remedy for human trafficking. Third, civil remedy for human trafficking. Fourth, federal civil remedy for human trafficking. 5, assault, sexual assault against all defendants. Wow. Cassie being mentioned first and then Diddy being mentioned second. Civil liability for violations of New York penal law. Wow. Hey, yo. Not a good time to use that. Trafficking. What else do we have? Violation of New York state human rights law. 8, New York services for victims trafficking against all of them. And the prayer for relief. Wherefore, the plaintiff respectfully demands judgment against defendant as follows: a compensatory damages in the amount to be proven at trial, including but not limited to past and future medical expenses, past and future lost earnings, and diminished earning capacity. But he was retired. What is his junk gonna have to do with how he? Okay. Pain and suffering, emotional distress, and damages. Punitive damages to punish defendants' egregious criminal conduct and deter similar future conduct. Pre and post judgment interest as provided by law. Costs and reasonable attorney's fees. Punitive damages pursuant to Florida statutes and such other and relief as the court deems proper. Clayton Howard. Did he write this himself? Pro se? Oh my. What? I gotta call Joe. I gotta call Joe Tacopina. We gotta protect this man. Oh no. No. Somebody contact Clayton Howard. Why did no one take this? Why does no one want this civil lawsuit? Oh man. Oh man. This guy needs to be protected. I know the answer to my own question. He's going against the Southern District of New York and the feds. Oh boy. Because he's alleged, basically what Mr. Howard is alleging here is that, hey, my attorneys held things up because the feds told them to. Oh my gosh. And I must say, this is very well written. Shout out to, I don't know if Clayton Howard used GPT, or whatever, but this is impressive. Very easy to read, well laid out. We just need to make sure this man's, hey, listen. Woo. What are y'all saying in the chat? Oh my goodness. We've got, oh, I missed a couple of super chats. Here we go. We got Peter Ortiz in the building. Thank you for your service as well, Peter. I appreciate you. Just passing through. Going to hit the pulled pork brisket Coronas. Oh, happy 4th. Love y'all. Oh, man. Enjoy the fireworks tonight. You too, Peter. Be safe out there, man. He also gifted 5 memberships. If you got a membership from Peter or my guy, Les Cleaver, make sure you guys say thank you. We got Amy in here again. She is going crazy, showing major support. She said, you lying to me or something? He's going to be happy I got that right the first time. You lying to me or something? Shout out to Amy. She had something else to say over here. Did she have another thought or no? Okay, no, we're good. Nope. He's well spoken. That's why you have to hear his video. Wait, there's a video? What? I did not, man, we have gone so far off track. I had like 50 other things I wanted to cover, y'all. He did a video? Oh my gosh. Where? Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Shout out to Elite Leo. I did not think we were going to have to deal with this BS today. Oh, man. All right, guys, here we go. So we've got the man, the myth, the legend himself. Mr. Clayton Howard speaks out. What does he say? He says, Me Too took a loss with Cassie because she lied. What does Mr. Howard have to say? I cannot wait to hear this. Is he talking this whole 5 minutes?
So good morning. I am Dave, the man who has just sued Cassandra Ventura for damages involved in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial. And I'm looking through social media and I see a lot of the women out there, particularly black women like myself, who choose to victim shame me and try to do everything they can to discredit me, because the truth is that the loss of the Sean Combs trial was a loss to the Me Too movement and to hating women like the women who are trying to insult me. So let me tell you something, you women out there who would like to insult me. This is my story. I was paid by Cassie, Cassandra Ventura, for 8 years to be her male provider. I didn't have to be the best looking guy. I was the best in bed. And because I was the best in bed, guess what? I was given this arrangement. I was coerced. I was drugged. I was manipulated with promises of money and gifts for over a period of 8 years to continue to be this woman's provider at her expense and at the expense of Diddy. Now, at the time, legally, I didn't know my rights as well as I do now. I didn't create this conflict with Cassandra Ventura. She created it with me. She's the one who decided to bring up things that happened over 10 to 15 years ago to hold Sean Combs accountable for what was a partial truth. She's the person who introduced me to the U.S. Attorney's Office. She's the person who told the U.S. Attorney's Office about our relationship. So in essence, those out there who want to hate on me, who want to say that I'm attacking Cassie, you should realize the truth, that Cassandra Ventura, your idol, did this to herself.
Dang.
She exposed herself to liability when she got on the stand and decided to mention me as the male escort who was with her when she overdosed and Diddy made her have sex with him. That was a lie, people. Cassie had just woke up from sleeping 8 hours. Myself and Sean Combs were exhausted. We wanted to go home. Cassie's the one who forced that sexual encounter. People, she tells you that Sean Combs made her have sex on her menstrual cycle. I can't speak for anyone else but myself. But I know the one time that did happen, that Sean Combs was not responsible for that Cassie, in a drunken, intoxicated, hormonally imbalanced state due to her period, manipulated and forced herself on me during her menstrual cycle. And what I mean by that is I had no knowledge she was on her menstrual cycle because the room was completely dark. She manipulated the room. She manipulated the environment to get what she wanted, and then she totally got up like I was the one who should have been grateful. You're on your period. That's disgusting, and I deserved more respect than that. As a man, if I had laid down with a woman and forced myself on her and orgasmed in her and she got up and it was leaking out of her, guess what? I would have raped her. So by statute, by case law definition, Cassandra Ventura sexually assaulted me. I'm not looking to destroy Cassie. I've given Cassie more than a year to settle this before things got out of control. The problem is she's being supported by women like you who would choose to attack male victims instead of accept the truth, which is that a woman could have lied to get revenge on the ex-boyfriend who broke her heart and hurt her. It happens, people. They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and that's true. If you hurt some women, they will do everything in their power. If you hurt some men, they'll do everything in their power to hurt you. But I want to end this by saying this. Cassie did this to herself. They say he who sets out on the course of revenge should dig 2 graves. People, Cassie dug the grave that is Clayton Howard herself. Cassie got on the stand trying to destroy Diddy. She should have took her $20-30 million and walked into the sunset, people. She should have never gotten on the stand and created further liability for herself by telling more of the lie that she created to get this man sent to prison for his life. She made a mistake when she got on the stand, people. She made a mistake when she got on the stand and lied about the events with Clayton Howard.
Dang.
Clayton Howard is a victim of Cassandra Ventura. Clayton Howard didn't ask to be in a relationship with Cassandra Ventura.
This is
while
insane.
She was sleeping with numerous men per week. I get it. You all think I was a nasty male prostitute sleeping with women, all different women all the time. It actually didn't work like that. To have certain types of people that can pay you that well, what you really have to do is you have to focus on people who are affluent. And affluent people don't engage in activities like that. So I might have had a client once a month. The truth is I was only a male escort for 2 years. I continued in the profession because Cassie and Diddy continued to pay me very well. And I was an ex-con. I needed money. Yes, I was trapped in the situation. I'll admit that. I didn't know what to do. But does that mean I should be victim shamed because the same thing that happened to women all the time happened to me as a man? No. And for those women out there, for you black women who choose to shame me as a black man for telling my truth, you should be ashamed of yourself. That's probably pretty much all I have to say. You will not see me too much in the media. I don't need the public to believe me. I just need a jury of my peers and 12 people to believe me in the court. And thanks to the testimony of Cassie during the trial of Sean Combs, I have that. Thank you for watching. Stop victim shaming. Thank you.
Oh man, we gotta protect this guy. I never thought I would say this in my entire life. Has this guy not called Tony Busby? This man needs to call Tony Busby right now. He needs to get higher security, relocate, go dark, something. But this is a man who has this very specific detailed story. We've went through and we've reviewed all the details here. Cassie went on the stand. He's saying it was a mistake. Cassie went on the stand and verified everything that he said in this lawsuit. Except he's got a different version of events. Cassie's saying Diddy made me do it. He's saying you made me do it. Oh my. Listen. I'm telling you, y'all pray for Clayton Howard. This is going to be an interesting battle. It's going to be an interesting struggle. I want to see how this plays out because a lot of what's said in this lawsuit is something we haven't seen before. Someone who, to protect themselves, Cassie Ventura, went on the stand, said this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. Now she's off the stand. She got her payment from when she sued Diddy. This man who she used to be viewed as a victim while she was on the stand is saying, oh, no. No, Cassie, we are not doing that. That's not what happened. You were the one who wanted this. You were the one who picked me out. You're the one who put on the wig and pretended to be Jackie Starr. We got to keep that same energy, guys. So many of y'all out there were crying, oh, Cassie victim, oh, Cassie victim. And she was a victim in certain instances. But this is something next level. She's got to be held accountable for it. Diddy's going to be held accountable for his part too. He said Mr. Clayton Howard said he gave Cassie an opportunity to settle this. Wow, this is some crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Y'all got to let me know what you think about this in the comments in the chat. And if you're going to say, oh, she was forced, I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. I'm not going to lie. He seems credible. Here's the problem. Y'all know how I am. You guys know I say innocent until proven guilty. With these civil cases, we all know the burden of proof there's a different standard, right? But here's the problem with this story. The problem in this case is usually the civil lawsuit is usually the first thing that you see. The civil lawsuits, it usually drops. And then the defendant in the lawsuit's like, oh, I'm being attacked. Here, it's a lot different because what's happening is Cassie is saying, allegedly, this is the man that was there. It happened. And Diddy made him do all these things. I was there. It happened. We did it. We did it here. We did it there. We did it here. Mr. Howard, he says, no, Cassie. Now I'm filing a lawsuit because you lied. Diddy didn't make you do those things in these instances. You wanted to do those things. Now, there were certain instances where Diddy had certain things that he was making you do and he was maybe making me do. I'm going to mention that later in the lawsuit, but you're not going to sit here and pretend like you're the victim and you didn't force some of this. So essentially, Cassie has somewhat admitted to everything that he laid out in his lawsuit. He just has a different side of things. Man, get these sex workers out of here, man. I'm so sick of them. Disgusting. How you gonna file a lawsuit, man? Just get out. But it is what it is. There's so much more I wanted to cover, man, but dang, this is insane. I'm gonna have to go through the rest of this lawsuit for y'all over on Patreon. So if y'all haven't checked out the Patreon yet, make sure you go over there. Oh my gosh. Amy in here with the 5-bomb says, I believe him. His body language is consistent. I stand with him. Men too. Shout out to Amy starting the Men too movement. Who's more misogynistic, me or Amy? I want y'all to tell me in the chat, because you know what they be saying. Who is more misogynistic? Am I more, or is Amy? Y'all probably gonna say me. Don't do that in the chat. I'm just kidding. Shout out to Amy, man. Yo, protect these men out here. His body, his choice, guys, right? Cassie definitely opened Pandora's box. Listen, oh, somebody said neither. I appreciate that. Thank you. Listen, Mr. Howard wasn't the first guy. Mr. Howard wasn't the only guy. We've seen a picture and we've heard of these other guys. Are more of them going to come out? Hey, let's wait and see. If now Mr. Howard, if this ends and he gets some type of settlement, I guarantee you there will be more of these guys that come out. Before then, probably not. But let's wait and see. Let's see if he gets some type of settlement. If he disappears and then he starts getting phone calls from the Punisher like, hey man, what'd she end up giving you? How'd that work out? I got cool like 3-5 mil, no big deal. And the Punisher saying, oh really? Hold on a second, we might have to do something here. Amy said they don't need to open no more boxes. Oh Lord. She had way too many men running up and through her to be powder fresh. I'm just saying. She probably figured just another day. Oh my gosh. What is the STD? The STD was chlamydia. She waited to hear her he waited to hear her testimony. Got her. Keep that same energy, y'all. Protect this victim. Alleged victim. Again, y'all called them out in the chat. All these people who have been out here said, Cassie, poor Cassie. Oh, Cassie and her 20 million. Oh. What do y'all think about this victim here? If you're going to believe Cassie, why not believe Mr. Howard? Man. Can we start writing the checks and filling in the names later? They need to go ahead and write a check for this one. Now, having the lights dim while you're on your period and not letting him know is crazy work. Wow. It's a crazy world we live in, y'all. And you know what? To avoid this, just have a few morals, you know? You want to stay out of this? Just avoid this situation. It's pretty straightforward. Cassie is a victim of DV, I agree, but she is no angel at all. Oh man, I had some other things I wanted to go through for y'all. Let me see. I want to make sure I don't miss anything important. Let me see. I think I've got time for one more. Keep your morals intact. Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to Elite Leo. Thank you for sending that. That was amazing insight. I will go ahead and drop. Let me see. I will drop the lawsuit over on the Patreon for y'all. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you check out the Patreon. Amy says, if he's been charged for trafficking, racketeering, and transportation for prostitution, what does all these consensual adults testifying? What does all these consensual adults testifying for? They haven't proven anything other than him being freaky. Shout out to Diddy. All right, I'm gonna let y'all go, man. Shout out to the gang. Big thank you to everyone who liked the video. Shout out to all 2,000 of y'all that liked the video. A special shout out to everyone that went the extra mile and sent in super chats to support the show. We had Les Cleaver in here, Kara Hampton, We had Slim Life New Jersey, Floyd the Real Deal, Neil, Mr. Brown in here, Miss Mandy Reacts is in the building as well. CPE, my dog, Peter Ortiz, always showing up. And then, of course, my awesome, amazing Amy in here. Major. She was dropping super chats like crazy. Hope y'all have an amazing 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. We love you. I love this country. It's the greatest country on earth. Excited to celebrate that tonight. We will be live tonight. If y'all get done with the fireworks and you want to check out some amazing music from some of the artists in the community, make sure you tune into the Song of the Night live tonight right here on the ClassE YouTube channel. We're doing something a little bit different. It'll be great to see some of y'all there. Hope y'all have a great day. Be safe this afternoon. Of course, as always, have a great weekend. And y'all know what to do. Keep growing. Keep pushing. Keep it classy. We gone. Peace.